if communication between a husband and a wife is toxic because he has another wife, the last thing he's going to want to do is have sex or make love, if you want to call it, whatever the case may be. You know, it's difficult to do that when all the arguments, when all the stuff, and it's difficult for women to do that.
Warning, viewer discretion is advised. The content, views, and educational material you are about to experience could challenge your belief, trigger strong emotions, and frankly, piss you off. This isn't for everyone. If you're not ready to confront new ideas, or if your feelings bruise easily, this might be the time to click away. Expect to be challenged, to think, and you might even want to scream at the screen. Proceed with caution, and remember, you chose to be here. Let's get it.
Assalamu alaikum, peace. It's Fatimah, Coach Fatimah, 1/3 of Outstanding Personal Relationships and co-author of the book, Let's Talk Polygyny Uncensored. Now, in this video, as we always do at OPR, I do want to address a very excruciatingly important topic, and that is the topic of sex and why it feels as though for some wives, they're not having it after their husband starts to practice polygyny, or so they say, or so they are experiencing. And it's such a great topic. It was brought to my attention in the comments. It's been brought to my attention before many times, and I would like to talk about it. So this video is about polygyny and not having sexual gratification. You guys know I go there. I've talked about sex, intimacy, physical relationships between people that are married, between a husband and a wife. And oftentimes what I find is that there's this narrative going around that because he got married again, we're not having sex, or I'm just this standby wife. Now, disclaimer, that has happened to some women. That is happening to some women, and I understand that. However, as I do understand that, and I think about those things, I've thought about women in this instance, in this lifestyle, I should say, that are not experiencing intimacy, which is more than just sex, y'all. Let me just say that, because some people get it twisted and they think intimacy is just merely physical contact, physical relations, lovemaking, you know. And it's not just that. It could be holding hands. It could be going out to dinner, having a really great conversation. It could be laughter. It could be a dance. It could be a walk. It could be anything that brings you closer to your spouse. So let's get into the topic at hand. I know polygyny does get this negative cloud around it when we start to talk about sexual activity with husbands and wives and having sex and making love and everything that has to do with it. And a lot of wives are left with, oh, he's not having sex with me because he's married. He's got somebody else. That's why. And then we escape the facts. Oftentimes when we just ruminate on that specific thing, we don't go, okay, mood has a lot to do with it. Shout out to my grandmother. She used to tell me, you guys have to excuse my little cough. I am asthmatic and I'm in a dusty place with a lot of dirt flying around, so you'll hear me cough a little bit. So forgive me on this video. She said to me, this is when I was a young wife, the younger wife, because I'm not old, y'all, but a younger wife. And she said, men's sex is in their head. And I'm like, what is she talking about? My grandmother talked in riddles. She just straight up spoke in riddles. And I was left to try to figure it out. And then I got married and got old. I'm like, oh, okay. What she meant was that if the communication is not there, if the marriage is not healthy, if there's stressors, if there's so many different things, because we actually did talk about it later on in my life. I'm like, Grandma, what was you talking about, girl? she told me so much can be on the mind that it just does not happen. If communication between a husband and a wife is toxic because he has another wife, the last thing he's going to want to do is have sex or make love, if you want to call it, whatever the case may be. You know, it's difficult to do that when all the arguments, when all the stuff, and it's difficult for women to do that. It goes both ways, but not in the same way, because in polygyny, when you have more than one wife, not polygamy, when you have more than one partner, the man has to think about the communication. And Coach Nazir has talked about this before too, and he trains actually, not just speaking on a video about the different things that men or husbands must go through or be to be in polygyny or practice polygyny. I learned that being in polygyny and practicing it, there's two different things. Practicing it is doing the best that you can every single day. Being in it just means you there with two wives and you're not doing your part, you know. And I have to go get on some of the guys about that as a wife and as someone that does coach in the arena of polygyny and marriage. What happens is if one wife is going about the other constantly, I mean, this obsession with saying something negative or obsessing over what's negative in their own monogamous marriage, because the two women are monogamously married to the same man, for clarification. So there's no sex going on between the wives in polygyny. I'm a practicing Muslim. There's no, again, marriage between myself and my co-wife. She said the same, because it's not. Now, back to what I was saying, it's difficult to become intimate when so much is going on and so much, there's no consistency. So there's no good behavior consistently within the marriage, okay? So when you're at it with your spouse and wives are going at their husbands, going, I don't care what he does, and it's okay, and he's trying, it ain't never right. Or you calling him out his name or hitting him or always bringing up the mistakes that he's made in the past, just constantly bringing up the past, well, you know, I don't like when you did this. I didn't like when you did that. I didn't like that she was at Eid, which is our religious celebration for the end of Ramadan, which it's the month of Ramadan. So Ramadan Mubarak to my Muslim audience and supporters of OPR. And salams to you all. He has a right to have his wives at something that is for family and that is an act of worship. See, a lot of men want to scream from the rooftop that they have another wife, but the society that we're in does not support that action. So if he wants to bring her to Eid, if he wants to do this, if he wants to do that, he wants to bring his family. He doesn't want to just bring one or two. He wants to bring his family. A lot of men do, and if they don't, maybe they're not ready yet. Maybe everybody doesn't know what's going on yet, and I understand that too. And we've spoken about that. We've trained about, you know, keeping things private and doing things or coming out into the community with polygyny at the proper time where your family's kind of comfortable. Now, with that being said, though, for clarification, sometimes a husband is not going to just wait till everybody's ultra comfortable to go, okay, everybody comfy? Everybody happy? Everybody ready? Because that day might not come. And then he's met with, I don't get to experience Eid with my family. I know they're great people. I love them. I want my children to be together, but my wives are not having it. And he might say, you know what, this year we're going to go to Eid. And your co-wife will be there. My other wife will be there. We're going to be there. I'm not saying you all got to be best friends, but we're going to be there. We're going to take our children out, let them have fun, let them play. And those things take its time. It took time for my family. It took time for us. But everybody was willing to go, okay, how can we make this the best that we can make it? Because it's not going to be like it was before, because that was monogamy. But I get to have my own marriage, and my co-wife gets to have her own marriage. And that's the beauty. And one doesn't go off and bleed into the other. Because you got to create those healthy boundaries, remember? That's what I was talking about before. So if there's not intimacy, if there's not sex being had between a husband and his wife, there's more to do with it than parts. The parts that fit, it goes beyond just that. Because if communication is toxic, if there's always an accusation, if there's always hell in the house, if there's always those things, you're not going to want to exchange energy with that. Wife might not want to. Husband, he ain't going to want to. You know. Are we supposed to cover one another in that way? Yes. Are we supposed to live in kindness as Muslims? Yes. I would hope everyone is living in kindness. But there's different rules, regulations, and I love it because it holds us all accountable. And if you're not Muslim, that's okay. You got to have some boundaries. You got to have some rules, some regulations, some ways to treat each other. But mistreatment is not going to get you in the bed with your spouse. And some might say, you know what, I need him for the physical part. I just need him to make love. I need him to have sex. I need him to crawl up on top of me, do what he's supposed to do. Be a man, be a king, do it. If a man thinks that all he's good for is his parts that are between his legs, not for his heart, not for his brain, not for his inner spirit, his inner beauty, then he won't want to have sex with his wife or wives separately. He won't want to do that because all I am to you is a body. And any king, any husband, right? We're not worshiping them, right? We know that. We say king, we say queens lovingly, but no one is above anyone else. But when we say that, they don't want to feel like a piece of meat just like we don't want to feel like a piece of meat. I don't bash men, I don't bash women, but let's be honest here. Let's tell the truth. Let's tell the truth. Because if he thinks all he's good for is his wallet, his parts, and I just need you to be in the house with me because I'm lonely. Don't talk to me though. That, if he's stonewalled, he's not going to want to. If he's constantly hearing his other wife being called out her name, constantly been told about mistakes, constantly ridden, constantly watched and judged, constantly having one wife keep score over his activity and the other wife, because you don't know what anybody's doing. Because people should not invite each other into each other's bedrooms. That's a private area. Okay? So we can't make anybody do anything. However, don't expect intimacy, love-making sex with your spouse if there's a constant, consistent dragging, mentally, physically, or otherwise. See, you can't mentally castrate the husband and expect him to use his self in the bedroom. And I just cussed him out 3 times this week. I don't know why he won't have sex or make love to me. I don't get it. He's supposed to. That's what he's supposed to do. It's just a challenge. Maybe he can. Everybody ain't the same. But when you keep getting your heart broken, because see, we think because they're male, they don't get their heart broke. We think that because they're men, they don't have feelings. Or we think that we, meaning some, I don't like general statements, but they got heart, they get heartbroken, they get sad, they get scared, they worry, they pray, they make dua, they want things to be better, they're trying to fix stuff. These are the ones that are trying. Because see, we're not talking to the ones that's not trying. I'm not. Because they've made a decision not to. So I don't waste my breath, I don't sign up for that class. But if they're confused, if they're worried, if they wish for something to be as best as it can be and they just don't have all the resources or all the answers, you can point them to Coach Nazir. Point them to his videos. Watch all the videos on OPR, not just mine, not just his, not just my awesome coach and co-wife, Coach Nyla. Don't just watch just a few. Watch them all. It's beneficial knowledge. Okay? So remember, the next time that you're not getting sex or getting made love to or having any form of intimacy whatsoever, think of possible causes of it. And if there's none, you need to have a hard conversation and ask some tough questions and get some understanding and listen and be listened to. So I hope you guys got some gems from this video. I had to go there. I don't mind going there. Doesn't bother me one bit because it needs to be said. It has to be said because it's talked about. Let's coach, let's train about it. Let's make videos about it. Let's open up the conversation. So in the comments, we're going to put healthy communication because we want healthy communication because people communicate all the time and it's absolutely can be unhealthy, right? So with that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to leave you with a little GLC, but before I do, make sure that you guys are commenting, liking, subscribing, and sharing because sharing is caring, and hitting that notification bell so that you guys stay plugged into when we upload videos. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. So on Facebook and YouTube, we're Outstanding Personal Relationships, and on Instagram, we're Outstanding Relationships. I'm going to leave you with that GLC that I promised. Make sure you're growing intentionally, loving fearlessly, and connecting on a higher level every single day. I'm Coach Fatimah. I will see you all in the next one. Assalamu alaikum. Peace.